Hi everyone, welcome back to the Eloquent Roundtable. I am so happy to have you here. As you know, my name is Nell. I am a specialist wellness counselor. Today, I want to talk about the lotus flower. It's one of my favorite flowers, beautiful flower. Um, the lotus flower doesn't grow in clear water, it rises from mud, from darkness, from places where water is heavy and still. And this matters because much of healing doesn't happen in clarity. It begins with confusion, in grief, in places we don't choose, and pain we do not ask for. In counseling, we often say that healing doesn't erase the past. It means learning how to live with what happened, but without letting it controlling us, right? And scripture echoes this truth. God doesn't wait for our lives to be tidy before He begins His work. He meets us in the mud. The lotus flower doesn't apologize for where it grew. It doesn't deny the darkness. It doesn't deny the darkness beneath it. It simply rises slowly, faithfully towards the light. I'm now looking at the light. And that is what God invites us to do. Some of you listening may feel like you're still in the murky water, still trying to make sense of disappointment, abandonment, loss, or a season that changed you in ways you did not expect. So I want you to hear this. Being in the mud does not mean that you are failing. It only means that you are becoming. Even Jesus was familiar with grief. He knew betrayal because he was betrayed. He was familiar with waiting in the dark before resurrection came. Healing often unfolds quietly, not in dramatic breakthroughs, but in small choices. Choosing rest instead of self blame, choosing honesty instead of spiritual bypassing, choosing compassion towards the parts of you that had to survive. In counseling terms, this is integration, honoring every version of you that carried you through. In faith, this means grace. The lotus is soft but not weak. Its softness is what allows it to open. In a world that tells us to harden, God invites us to soften, not to be harmed again, but to be healed. Your tenderness is not a liability. It is evidence of God's careful workmanship. So today, wherever you are, you don't have to rush your blooming. Let God meet you where you are. Let His presence cleanse what shame has clouded. Let His peace lift what grief has weighed down. Let His Spirit open what pain told you to close. The lotus blooms in its own time, not because the mud disappears, but because the light remains faithful, and so do you. By grace, by healing, by God's steady hand. This is the work of healing. This is sacred, and this is the Eloquent Round Table. Thank you for sitting with me today. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next episode. The lotus blooms in its own time, not because the mud disappears, but because the light remains faithful, and so do you. By grace, by healing, by God's steady hand. This is the work of healing. This is sacred, and this is the Eloquent Round Table. Thank you for sitting with me today. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next episode.